Greetings, tiny critters of the woods. It's Mama Nettles speaking. Today we're going to sew claws. For this, we will need material for the claws. I use for this metallized fabric, and the cuticle material for the claws is plush. It's a very soft plush, so I can't stop touching it. I'm sorry, as well as synthetic padding polyester that will appear in the frame later. For now, our frame will stay pretty. We will also need scissors and a pattern for the claw and cuticle and a washable felt tip pen for the fabric. I also use fabric clips rather than pins because they give less folds in the fabric. To begin, fold your claw fabric in half face to face, inside out. Smooth the fabric well to remove any folds and secure with clothespins where possible. Take your claw pattern and trace around it 10 times. If you are making 5-finger gloves. And here I show you why you shouldn't use paper for the claw pattern because it can get wet like here. Yeah. Then cut out a piece of fabric, leaving a comfortable seam allowance. Make sure there are no folds and secure with clips. Here we go. Let's sew. I tried to secure the ends nicely by going over them a few times with a stitch. And the rest of the sewing. I'm hardly autistic, so I'm still freaked out by the sound of the sewing machine. So I'm still being awkward with it. Ha ha ha. When the scary part is done, finally, I trim the threads and cut out the claw, leaving just a little bit of fabric so that the finish turned out. Claw doesn't have creases and looks smooth. It's time to stuff the claws with padding. Poof! The stuffing comes into the frame. Here you can see how I've been suffering for a lot of time with the metallized fabric sticking to itself. I carefully turn the claw out and roll the seam between my fingers to spread it out nicely. I stuff the claw not too much, but so that it holds its shape well. And I pinch them off at the end with a clip. Now let's do the cuticles. I take the pattern for it, this time plush, and mark the borders of these rectangles. I cut them out whole and then divide them into parts. This is a convenient process for me, but you can do as you like. The main thing is to get the result. Next, we need to fold our rectangles in half along the short side, and then fold in half as I show. I think I've repeated this enough times for you to memorize the process, but the pattern shows how to fold anyway. Next, we need to fold our rectangles in half along the short side, and then fold in half as I show. I think I've repeated this enough times for you to memorize the process, but the pattern shows how to fold anyway. Sew the free edge, leaving a little space for the machine to work comfortably. The pattern is designed for this. I always sew this part several times for reliability. Now we need to trim the cuticle, yes, like a manicure. Take a claw, try the cuticle on it, and see where you need to trim the cuticle so that you are happy with the appearance. The smaller part of this figure should stay where the cuticle seam is. Also attach the cuticle to the claw, making sure that the seam matches the seam on the claw. Now we face the final stage, the longest. I always like to make sure that all the layers of fabric are seamed, and so I make 2 knots around the seam at the bottom and live quill stitch. I always make sure that the thread is well tightened, and for this, I use a strong thread for jeans, which will definitely withstand the load and will not tear. And also at the end, I make several knots because just one is not strong enough. See you in the new tutorial video. Bye bye.